Well, well, well. Look what we got here. Am I dreaming, or are you the prettiest thing I've seen in these parts for quite some time? Yeah, keep your shirt on. I'll untie you when I feel like untying you. Caution before chaos, I like to say. Don't want to blunder in carelessly and do something rash I'll regret tomorrow. No sense in untying you before I know what's going on. That's right. I shot those two men that were stringing you up, but that doesn't mean they didn't have a good reason for wanting you hung. Never seen you before. You're not from around these parts, so why don't you tell me a little bit about yourself? How about starting with a name? Don't even want to give me a name? Well, that's not very hospitable of you. It makes me think that there might be a little something you're trying to hide. Me? I'd be happy to oblige. Name's Veronica. That's right. Some people call me that as well. So you've heard of me? Outlaw's only a name some folk use. I prefer vigilante. But if a cute guy like you wants to call me an outlaw, I'll allow it. As you can see, giving me your name shouldn't pose much of a problem now. After all, what kind of reputation could you have that would be worse than mine? Still not talking? No matter. I'll just call you Cutie then. Not a fan of that one? Well, I suppose I could change it to Deceased. You like that any better? Didn't think so. So unless you give me a better option, Cutie, it is. Now, on to other business. Why'd those two want you swinging from a tree? I'm aware of who those two men are, or rather were. Randy and Jake Richardson, a couple of the Ornerius brothers you'll ever meet. I shot them before questioning them about why you're up here because I didn't figure I'd get an honest answer from them anyway. They're a couple of no good lowlifes that have been after me for a while and would have tried to shoot me dead without thinking about it, even after I had the drop on them. I think you'll agree, seeing as how they were about to send you to the next life, that ridding this world of their existence wasn't a wally bad thing. I'm aware they were wearing badges. They ran with one Jedediah Runefield, a notoriously evil monster around these parts that came up with the bright idea to become the sheriff in this territory, rather than a bandit leader. It was a clever move. No sense fighting the law when you can become the law. Now he runs this territory like it was his own personal plaything. His gang does their thieving and marauding in plain sight. Who's going to stop him? Anyone who tries either ends up in a cell on trumped-up charges, or they wind up in a shallow grave. Looks like they had that second option in mind for you. Mind telling me what made them decide on that course of action? Heading to Stony Ridge? What's there for you? You got family there? Maybe a wife you're returning to? No. Then why go to Stony Ridge? No, Cutie. I don't think personal business cuts it at this point. You're currently sitting on your horse with the noose around your neck. If I wanted to, I wouldn't even have to shoot you. I'd just spook your horse and that would end your journey real quick. So why don't you give me a little more information than that's none of your concern? Yeah, I just said I know that these two were no good cutthroats. That doesn't mean you're not one either. Just because you're cute doesn't mean you're not a scoundrel. Sometimes the cutest ones are also the meanest. Help her? With what? How are you planning on helping the good folk of Stony Ridge? What's in those saddlebags? Let me take a look. cutie. I wouldn't go kicking at me anymore if I were you. You might just make your horse up and gallop away. So just calm down and let me see what we've got here. Bottles. Bottles filled with... What is this? What have you got here? Is this medicine? I heard that an illness has fallen upon the people in town. Are you bringing them something for that? Why would Jedediah want you dead for that? Fine. Don't say anything else. Looks like I've learned all I'm going to learn for right now. You're not the most forthcoming individual, which makes sense seeing what you've been through today. You probably trust me as far as you can throw me, but that doesn't mean you're one of them. Trying to get medicine to those ailing folks in Stony Ridge doesn't make you a desperado worthy of being hung. Let me untie that rope from the tree. I never said anything about untying your hands, cutie, or taking this noose off from around your neck. I believe I said that I'll untie you when I felt like it, and I don't feel like untying you just yet. You're coming with me. Of course I could untie you and set you free, but, you see, that was never an option. I wasn't determining if you were someone worth keeping. I've saved your life. If I hadn't come round, you'd already be dead. That makes you my property now. That's what I said. I've saved your life, so it's mine. Whether you see it that way is irrelevant now, ain't it? Even if you don't like my logic, you're the one with his hands tied behind his back and with your neck still secured by a noose, and I'm the one with a loaded gun. 4 loaded guns if you want to get specific, as well as 2 bowie knives ready to go. So pray tell, how are you planning on stopping me if I decide just to claim you? Of course I can claim you. I believe I just explained why and how. Now come on, we'll have plenty of time to discuss this new arrangement of ours on the way home. For now, let's get out of the blazing sun and away from the prying eyes that might be interested in knowing what's happened to Randy and Jake, as well as knowing where you might have run off to. Oh, come on now. Eat. It's just one more bite. Don't be stubborn. What do you think refusing the last bite will prove anyway? You had to have been hungry after what you've been through, even before I brought you here and we spent the entire day reaching this spot. Now just eat. There you go. Good boy. Why shouldn't I say good boy? After all, cutie, you're mine. I can call you whatever I want. Well, if you're mine only so long as I have you tied up, there's no incentive for me to ever untie you now, is there? Oh, don't look at me like that. I'll probably end up untying you someday, but I need to carefully weigh my options first. Caution before chaos. I have to do no such thing. You, in fact, are the one that has to do as I say. I rescued you, and now I own you. Why are you struggling so much with that concept? It's fairly straightforward. You should be dead. You're not dead. The entire reason why you're not dead is me. If I hadn't stepped in and saved you, you wouldn't even be here to have this argument with me. No, shh. I don't want to hear any more of your whining. There, now I have to gag you as well as tie you. Do you really want me to do that? That's what I thought. Answer me this, cutie. Are you alive? And are you appreciative of me saving your life? Then at the very least, don't you feel you owe me something? You see, cutie, you're not disagreeing with my stance. You're just quibbling over the terms. Okay, shh. No. Stop. We've been over this time and time again. You're mine, and that's that. I'm done talking about it. Come here. No, just come here. We're going to get cozy for the night. That's right. It's going to get chilly tonight, so come here. You're going to cuddle up next to me for warmth. No, it's not inappropriate. I appreciate you trying to be a gentleman, cutie, but it really is going to get cold here tonight. Especially once the fire dies. So just come here. There you go. I'll lay back on this rock. You lay your head on my chest here. Go on, it's okay. That's a good boy. I'll put this blanket over both of us to retain heat. Why should I stop calling you a good boy when it gets that embarrassing reaction out of you? It makes you even cuter than you already are, and I didn't choose the name Cutie for nothing. Now calm down and relax. I want to rub your head and run my fingers through your hair. Does that feel good? Good, I'm glad. Ready to tell me anything else about yourself? No, I suppose that's fair. If I'm wanting more information about you, then I should be willing to tell you a little bit more about me. What do you want to know? Really? Of all the things you could ask, you choose to ask why I use the expression caution before chaos? My, you are an interesting fellow, cutie. It was Jedediah. Jedediah is the reason why I say that. Jedediah is the man who made me who I am today. You could say that. Truth is, this whole world's turned upside down. Or at least my end of it. My daddy used to run with Jedediah, but before that, he was a ranch hand when he met my mama. They fell in love and had me. Daddy taught me everything there is to know about horses, and Mama taught me everything there is to know about shooting. On my honour. My Mama was a crack shot that could take the wings off a gnat. Daddy couldn't hit a black deer if it were 2 feet away, but he could practically speak with horses. He knew them inside out. He loved horses and they loved him. When I was 8, we fell on hard times. Daddy lost his job when someone rustled a herd he was helping to move to Texas. Couldn't find any decent work, so he took a chance and decided to run with Jedediah for a spell. Figured someone robbed him. It was only fair that he took some back. Mama wasn't happy about it, but Daddy told me it was that or starve, and he wasn't about to let that happen to us. I don't know everything that happened while he was in Jedediah's gang, but I do know that Daddy came home one day with a wad of money in his possession. We bought a farmstead and was making a go of it. It was hard work, but we had each other and we were happy. Then one day Jedediah shows up with his gang, only this time he's got a badge. Says he's there to arrest my daddy for all of the crimes he committed while in his gang. I don't know whose ass Jedediah kissed to get that badge, but now he had it out for my daddy for daring to leave his gang, and he had the force of the law behind him. Ain't that ironic? The man trying to arrest my daddy was the man that got him to break the law in the first place. Jedediah promised he'd get a fair trial, but my mama knew that wasn't true. She knew my daddy was going to be hung before they even got back to town, or shot in the back. She killed 2 of Jedediah's men before they could touch their guns. Jedediah shot her clean through the heart, and then shot my daddy next while he was crying over my mama. all while I was watching. I was 16 at the time. I wanted to, but I didn't have a weapon on me. Even though Mama had taken 2 of them down, there were still 5 left. I chose caution before chaos. I would run off to regroup and start the flames of my retribution. I jumped onto my horse, Firefly, and took off faster than a tornado in Oklahoma. I've spent the last few years doing what I can to take that bastard Jedediah down, while he's put a price on my head and labelled me an outlaw for seeking justice for what he did. Thank you, Cutie. I'm sorry too. I've been sorry for the rest of my life. You know, sometimes I think it would have been better if I had chosen chaos over caution and just charged the nearest henchmen and let them shoot me dead. But then I never would have been there to save your life, Cutie. Why am I keeping you? I've been out here on my own, wreaking havoc on Jedediah's operations while living isolated and alone for a few years now. I wanted someone to hold. I wanted to feel the touch of another person again. True, if I untied you, you'd be free to hold me back. But would you? And that's why you're still tied. Your silence tells me no. Or at least that you're not sure. I didn't feel like taking the chance. I told you. I've claimed you. You're mine now. But don't worry, Cutie. I'm not the vicious outlaw those stories claim. Most of them have been exaggerated by Jedediah to make me look like the monster he is. I aim to put a bullet between his eyes as soon as we're close enough to do so. I don't aim to harm those that don't deserve it, and that includes you. They can hang me at that point. I won't care. I will have avenged my mama and my daddy. But enough of that. You don't have to tell me nothing else tonight. We're both tired. I'll keep stroking your hair as long as I'm awake. No, I told you. You never have to worry about that with me. I ain't planning on hurting your... Well, I ain't planning on hurting you. Close your eyes, Cutie. I'm happy with you here on my chest tonight. Tonight is the caution. Tomorrow will be the chaos.